Hello and welcome, I'm Misstical, this Misstical game. We're jumping into Watcher Realms. I'm on the test server. Alas, thank you very much, Meton, for that. Absolutely fantastic. So this is the new healer, Eirlys. Now, I'm not a big fan of jumping in and reading big walls of text, so we'll jump around the game a bit and we'll show each of her skills or talents and that sort of thing and abilities actually in game, so you can sort of see what they're doing. I think it's an easier way to see what actually happens. Okay, so firstly, she's a watchguard. She's a northerner healer. She does single target heals, team protection and allied buff. Now her range isn't fantastic. I mean, there are bigger ranges out there with the likes of, you know, Vortex, your Hollows, Narissa, that sort of thing. They've got bigger healing ranges. Okay, so her attack is up there as well. She's an attack based healer. Now her attack is at 5.5k, which is pretty good. It's on the right side of things, I feel. So there we go. That's the basic part of a kit. Now there isn't anything overly weird about her. She's quite quick, if we're honest. We scroll down here, where is she? Attack interval 5.5. Now most healers or single target healers around the 3 mark, so she's down at the 2.5, which I think is good. But the rest of it all looks relatively normal from what I can see at first glance. Feel free to point out in the comments if I've got that wrong. Now let's go and have a look at the promotions, see how everything works when you promote her up. Okay, so she is 6-starred, 60 and fully promoted. Everything else is blank. So you get your first passive at 1, promotion 2, you get a slight range increase, which is quite nice, but it's still not a massive range, but okay. That's the range she's got. You get the next passive at 3, 4 is the attributes, 5 is the talents enhanced, and then at 6 it's just enhanced of the attributes and things like that. Okay, right, so this is her skills. We haven't awakened her up, we haven't got an artifact on her, we haven't got any gear on her, okay, but it's alright because we can just see how stuff actually works. So we'll go through this and we'll just run her and see how things actually work in game, as opposed to actually just reading a wall of text. So first place here, we're just going in to have a look on the guild boss, and we can see how she actually heals and that sort of stuff, and how her talent works as well. Okay, so got a few people who are just going to chuck down the new archer. She's down there, new fighter, happy days, and some Wukong as well. Now she does a single target heal. She applies 100% attack based healing to one ally in range, and then as we level her up, we can level that up as well, so we can see this in action. Okay, place her down, and then as people require a healing, she will chuck a heal out, and it's single target. Okay, there we go. Nice and easy, nothing too complicated at the moment. We can see her healing people off. Now this is the first part, her talent. When healing allies, she applies serene breath to them and grants physical damage reduction, magic damage reduction to allies with serene breath. When healing allies with serene breath, restores 2% rage to the caster. Okay, right, now let's have a look at that. Now the first part of this is she does a magic damage and a physical damage reduction. They're both at 25%. It's a nice part she's doing. Okay, that's a big little buff. That's a big buff on someone. Okay, 25%. That's nice. Now, when Eirlys heals allies with serene breath, she applies an extra 30% healing bonus. Up to 2 allies with serene breath can be on the field. This effect cannot be dispelled. Okay, so that's sort of fine, but I haven't really seen any evidence of it, to be honest. So if you have a look, you can come over and we can see the new fighter Kane. We'll do a video on him later. He's got the magic and the physical damage reduction, both at 25%, but there's no serene breath buff that goes on. You just get these 2 buffs, and I thought they came within that. They have like a separate icon around the side of them to show they can't be dispelled, so I don't know. No evidence to say they can be dispelled or they can't, just what's in the text, but that's how you can see. So you have a look at everyone else and you can see which other people have got it, because you can see, there you go, just healed up some Wukong. So if you checked him, you'd see that he's now got it on there as well. Okay, so there we go, there's his, and that seems to be the only way you can sort of tell who's got it on, is by checking to see if they've got the magic damage or physical damage reduction. Okay, right, that is the talent and her A1 or a first attack. Now let's move on to this. Here we go. Right, this is her first passive, okay? Sanctuary of Light. One ally in attack range can be immune to one instance of fatal damage. If the ally triggering this effect is with Serene Breath, now the only way I think we can test or check if we've got Serene Breath is the damage reduction, also gains immunity to all damage for 3 seconds. This effect can be triggered at most one time every 6 seconds, but you can get the damage immunity up to 5 seconds, and you can get the trigger interval down by another 10 seconds as well, okay? So you can get that. You can get a 5-second immunity, and you can get it triggering every 50 seconds as well, okay? So let's place our fighter down, and then we can place her down, and we'll let ourselves get overrun, and then when we're overrun we'll be able to actually see what happens, okay? So we've gone here because there's a lot of damage coming in, and we want lots of damage so we can see that we're getting immunity, as opposed to one hit every 2 and a bit seconds. You'd only notice it once, whereas see, we're getting a whole stream of damage. This time when we see that we're not getting anything for 3 seconds, we'll easily be able to see that we're not getting it for 3 seconds, okay? I think it's just easier to look at. Right, so here we go. So this is the first wave. Here comes the second wave. So we've got the mobs going around the side for us. They're going to come in and do some more damage on us, and then we can start to really get overwhelmed now, okay? So the tank hasn't got any gear on either, just to make it easier. There's everything dropping off, okay? There's our health dropping off. Boom. Where are we? There we go. I think that's it there. And now we're not taking any damage. There we go. And we're back to taking damage now. So that is about it. Okay. That is pretty much what happens. Now, I was sort of curious. There's a reason why I've used Malvira, to see if this triggers and unyielding triggers. So this time we'll just speed through everything, okay? Just go through this a bit quicker. There we go. There's the first bit. We know what's happening. Here come the mobs coming around, and now if we jump in, we can have a look and see what's actually going to happen. So we're losing a lot of health. Now I can click up here and I can see I've got my damage mitigation on, and I've also got the buff that I give myself from Malvira as well, so I can see that I've got my resentment building up, and I want that resentment because that resentment is what uses my unyielding. So taking some damage, and it shouldn't be much longer for me. Taking some more. Here we go. Now there is the buffs on it. I should be able to move that across. There we go. There you can see my resentment, and that is the border I was talking about there. Now I thought that is what you should get on these if they weren't dispellable, but we shall see. Okay, now here we go. We're just about to refresh there. There we go. We've done a refresh there. Now we've lost all our health. Okay, so we're not taking any damage now. Hopefully we won't see any damage tick up on us. And we can still see we've got our resentment stacks up to 6 stacks at the moment. Okay, so we haven't used our unyielding, and yet we are avoiding that death. Okay, so we're now going to start to trigger. Here we go. We're starting to build everything back up. Building back up, and then hopefully soon we'll take another fatal damage. There we go, and now we can start to use our resentment. Yeah, our resentment's gone down to 4. So I think from what I can see, it's only a quick test. It's not a full-on test, okay? I haven't run it multiple times. It was just a quick look. I think you get your saving from fatal damage from the healer first, and then if you've got something else like an ice block or unyielding, that sort of thing, then you trigger that afterwards. Okay, you now see that Elvira's gone that sort of yellow orby color around her where she's unyielding sort of thing happens. So, okay, so that's what happens when she hits that fatal damage block for you. Okay, it's not using both at the same time, but it appears to be using the healer one before it uses the unyielding one. Now I haven't tested it with lots of tanks, but I think that'll be the next option, the next way to test. Okay, right, next ability. Now a next passive is very much, I think, what people are going to be talking about or want to be using her for. Okay, so while the hero is on the field, allies recover an additional 0.5% rage per second. Allies with Serene Breath recover 1.5 rage per second instead. Now you can up that by another 0.5, so you can get that up to 1% of rage per second, and then with a serene breath you're going to get 2%. Okay, so that's what she can do. Now what we're doing here is I'm going to get myself out of the way a little bit. So if I move myself up here for the next couple of bits, what we're doing is we're just putting our new fighter, our new marksman down, and we are hitting auto on her ultimate. So she's going down, she's sitting auto on her ultimate, and we'll let her play through. So there's her ultimate going off, boom boom boom, thanks very much. And we're now starting to build it back up again, and we can see the clock at the top is ticking away. So we've got a sort of timer on how long it's going to take her before her ultimate goes off, and then we can put a healer on there and we can see how much of a boost this rage regen gives us. We can actually sort of see it in realish time. There will be some errors, but essentially that's what's going to be happening. Now our marksman doesn't have any gear on or anything like that. There's nothing, her awakenings aren't done, she hasn't got artifacts on, anything like that. So she's not putting out the best she can do to get her ultimate back. Okay, but here we are, we're pretty much done now. She's down to what, 90, there we go, and we're at 304. Okay, 3 minutes 4 into the fight before her ultimate is ready again for that second window. Okay, now if we just hit restart, we can skip the beginning, we can place her down at the start again, and then we can place our healer down. There we go. There's only one person on, so she'll be the one that has serene breath on her. We can hit auto with the ultimate. There we go, we can speed this up. So there we go, we can see her now. This ultimate is powering through. Look at this, we're 98, 99, boom, there we are, and we're at 402. So what is that, 22 seconds faster than previously. I think that's pretty good. That is pretty good. Okay, now there are other people that can do it, so let's have a quick test of those. We put Eirlys down, as we know, because lots of people use an Eirlys on auto. There we go, she used her ability. There's the timer going down, and it's just a matter of waiting. Here she comes, she's on 95, 96, 90. There we go. She's actually what, 2 to 4 seconds slower than Eirlys. Okay, now if we put them both together, now I haven't fully tested this, don't take this as black and white, probably needs a bit more testing. I put them both down. I put Eirlys down first, then I put Eirlys down, and then we're just going to run the same test. So we're on auto, there we go, there. That goes off. Now we can see she's getting healed, so we know. I didn't actually look to see if she was they got the 2 heals go on there. I didn't look to see and check and show that she's got the buff, so we know that she's got serene breath on, so she's getting the boost for her rage regen. Okay, so sorry about that, but we can see that she was getting healed. There we go, there's her ultimate, exactly the same time. So it appears the larger buff stays on there and the smaller buff isn't included. So if we have a look at Eirlys, we can have a look at what she does. So I'll just get me out of the way again. So what Eirlys is doing, she's doing rage regen, restores 1% rage regen. She's got all the things done, so she's up to 3%, which is bigger than the other buff that she's getting. So it does say that the stronger the current buff debuff on the same attribute. So this is the one that seems to take effect even though it's slower. Now why would it be slower? I think because they do slightly different things, or they're worded slightly differently, and this is an assumption again. Okay, so Eirlys is doing a rage regen, so when you have rage regen, this is when you are either being attacked or you're doing your attacking. So the marksman's there, bing bing bing, happy days, and when she's doing that, that is when she's getting her rage regen back from this, whereas Eirlys, her ability is worded somewhat differently, and it's quite an important change. So her ability, the Hymn of Prayer, while the hero is on the battlefield, allies recover an additional 0.5% rage regen per second, or rage per second. Okay, allies with serene breath now recover 1.5% rage per second instead. Now this is, you're recovering rage, you're not getting rage regen. Okay, so all those times that you're not attacking, so because there's nothing on our marksman, I'm imagining, I haven't checked, but let's assume that we've got a 2 second time between her attack intervals, then that would only trigger her rage regen every 2 seconds. Whereas this one over here from Eirlys, doesn't matter about your attack interval, you're getting that per second anyway. Okay, so there we go. That's my take on it. Probably does need a bit more checking, but at first glance it appears these are not stackable. Okay, right, let's move on to this ultimate of hers as well then. Okay, right, so the ultimate, we put our healer, we're going to put our tank down and have a look at this. So she applies a healing prayer to one ally with the lowest HP percentage in range. Okay, nice and easy. What does healing prayer does? Well, healing prayer, when the bearer's HP drops below 75%, immediately restores HP equal to 300% of the caster's attack. Not of the attack, it's of how much they heal from, and she's an attack based healer, so it's not actually the attack, and removes this effect. When the effect duration naturally ends or is refreshed, restores HP equals to 100%. So you just get one normal heal. Okay, from the caster's attack for the bearer, this effect cannot be dispelled. Okay, now I can't see where this effect would be dispelled from, but there we go. We can see if we have a look on here, we are healing up for 3,802 points of damage. That's what we're healing for on every tick. Okay, so 300% of that, we should be able to hit about 11k, shouldn't we? So there we go, 11,406. So that is the 300% of the 3,802, was it, something like that? So there we go. We can see how that works, and that's how our ultimate works. Now, the interesting thing about the ultimate is if we have another read of it here, it applies this healing prayer, brilliant, to one ally with the lowest HP. But have a look at this, it's 600. It's only 600. Yeah. Healing prayers healing multiplier by 50%, so you can get it by another 100%, which would be fantastic. And then you've got the healing cost, the skill cost, you can reduce that by 100. So this ultimate will come around every 500 rage, and she's doing rage regen. You would be powering through this ultimate really quickly. Okay, I think that's worth knowing. You're going to get this big heal, and it's going to be coming round, cycling round really quickly. Okay, could be an absolutely fantastic healer for you, depending on where you are in the game and what you're looking for. Let's go and have a look at her in general. Okay, so have we covered everything? Okay, right, gear, we didn't have any gear on her. Skills, Dream's Breath, we can't see it, it's not really a buff, but we understand what it does now. Physical damage reduction, magic damage reduction, both brilliant because they come in at the big 25%. Rage regen, we don't think, or it doesn't look like at first glance this is stackable with other rage regens. Might be worth trying out, or we'll have a try out with a hollow and things like that and see if we can start to boost this, see what actually happens. Single target attack based healer. Sanctuary of Light, her first passive. Okay, the immunity of death, she seems to get that before she gets unyielding. Okay, but probably need to do some more checks on that as well, just to make sure we know what is actually happening with that. So we'll take some barons out and that sort of thing over the next few days. Hymn of Prayer, again, this is the rage regen again, and we've already said we'll do some full-on testing on this and see how it goes. But if you've got anything you want done, just put it down in the comments below and I will go through it. Okay, and the ultimate, which is a nice big healer, and it comes around very fast. Okay, so there we go, that is the new healer coming out. She is on next weekend. Okay, so just accordingly. Awakenings, you're getting an enhancement on these. Okay, Awakening 1 applies one instance of healing to all allies, healing per instance 15%, and then the other one, direct healing from the basic heal and healing prayer, applies an additional one instance of 15% of healing to all allies with Serene Breath, but remember, only 2 of them get it. Healing effect 8%. Awakening 3, when healing prayer triggers healing on the bearer, HP below 75%, grants a damage increase, so you're getting 50% damage increase. Probably the tank, so might not be the best thing, to all allies with Serene Breath, so you might want to make sure that you've got some DPS in there as well. When healing prayer triggers upon healing naturally expires or refresh, grants damage increase 30% to all allies with Serene Breath as well. Okay, so if it triggers that big heal, then you get 50%. If it triggers a smaller version, if it just naturally wears off, then you'll get a damage increase of 30% as well. Okay. Rage regen auto +1, quite nice to see her come around with the ultimate bit more, but that is Awakening 4 you're going to need her at. When Sanctuary of Light is triggered, restores the hero's attack interval, or sorry, reduces the hero's attack interval by 35%. for 15 seconds. Okay, and the Sanctuary of Light is her first passive there as well. So whenever she triggers saving someone's life by this immunity to death, she's then going to up her attack speed, which means she's going to get more heals out. Okay, so probably very good as well. Right, there you go. A quick look through on her skills and mechanics and how they actually work. Hope you found it interesting. If you've got any constructive criticism, comments below. That would be most helpful for me as well, and you get a better product in the future videos. Other than that, if you could leave me a thumbs up, like and subscribe would help me out massively. I'll see you all in a video again soon. Thank you very much for your time. Cheers. Bye.